Hello, welcome to Beer, Pizza, Movie and Breakfast.
Yes, that's not a beer pizza movie, is it? It's a coffee breakfast movie. Let's not do this, it's just beer pizza movie. So welcome back. I'm Harry, the best one, and then there's Ross as well.
The other best one.
And yeah, it's been a while, but today we're gonna do Independence Day.
Yes.
We may be 2.5 weeks late, but you guys don't know that.
This is released on... We watched it on the day Independence Day came out, but I haven't released it yet because of the editing schedule, possibly.
Maybe, yeah. So right now we're actually cooking breakfast just because we're
that's the sound of the grill being turned on.
A bit rushed for time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch the first Independence Day, and then we're gonna go to more second and do a review of that. So let's just talk about the second one, really, because we know the first one nicely.
I think we can talk a little bit about the first one. What are your experiences and opinions of the first one?
Amazing film, set a standard for disaster movies.
Yeah.
That have never been set before, like city-destroying disaster movies.
Yeah.
Maybe even before, I don't know. This one did it really well, and I'm expecting it to still look seamless.
I don't think it has ever been done before, and I actually think it's not been done since as well yet. Everyone is just, hey, let's just wreck a city! And it hasn't been done as well as Independence Day.
Yeah, because this was actually a good film as well.
Yeah, exactly. It came from a time when making a movie meant making a good movie, and then adding special effects on top of that was a bonus. So their city destroying was the extra bit on top of the base of a bloody awesome movie.
And also, you'll like this, their special effects, practical.
Yep, all practical.
All models, all sets. Like the White House, they had I think about a 10-foot wide White House model.
Yeah.
I think they had 2 of them. And
All of which they blew up.
Yeah, and they actually blew them up, and that's how it looks so good.
Yeah.
Given its time.
Exactly.
It's not even given its time. Actually, we'll be able to say that once we've seen it.
Yeah. What was the year it came out? It was like 96.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it's 20 years later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I was 10 when that came out.
I was 3.
So yeah, that was one of my first big blockbuster movies that I kind of experienced, I think.
I was scared of it. Obviously because I was 3.
Well, yeah.
Scared of everything at 3.
Oh no! The postman!
Yeah, so that was all, an absolute standout movie. I'm really looking forward to watching it again, and also it's a classic Will Smith. Wasn't it like his first big film?
It was one of his first big films. Yeah, because he was cast in it off the strength of like Fresh Prince. They just wanted someone a bit different, a bit seeming semi-out there, I suppose. And, he had his rap career along the way. And then I think he sort of turned Independence Day into his Men in Black thing, and then into being a real serious proper actor.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see him in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we'll get to that in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we will. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's quite soon. Okay, so let's talk about Independence Day Resurgence. New one, which came out on the 23rd of June, which was our UK referendum.
Yeah. So we were sort of thinking about other things.
Quite subtle hint, really. Independence Day.
Yeah.
Was it Farage who said like this will always be known as our Independence Day? Like,
he did.
Shut up, Farage.
You idiot.
Go and get another job.
Yeah. Well,
he has.
He has. He's a member of the European Parliament. He's quit his English job, and he's kept his EU job after having campaigned with lies to get the UK out of the EU.
What a hypocrite. But stop there. Let's not
no more politics, Ross. Alright, fine.
As much as I really do want to talk about politics. This what are you expecting from the new one?
I don't really know. Having seen a couple of trailers, when I saw the first trailer, I thought, oh god, why are they doing this? Then when I saw the second trailer, I thought, oh no, this could be really good.
When I saw the first trailer, I thought it could be really good because they did like the whole speech. It's like that iconic speech, and like today will always be known as the day that we celebrate, and then it cuts out, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Good drama.
I don't know. It screams unnecessary remake / sequel. Even.
Yeah.
It's a sequel. It screams unnecessary to me. When I saw the advert for the second one, the second trailer even, I really thought, actually no, this could be great because it's doing 20 years of real time and 20 years of movie time later. It's looking at the actual implications of what happened. It's not just, hey, let's just make that thing happen again. So I am interested. However, I've not read any reviews, but I have read the meta scores on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's not doing well.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Yeah. So I would love it to be good. I would love it to be a remake, a sequel many years after the fact that doesn't turn out to be rubbish like the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was. Which was rubbish for a whole different set of reasons, in my opinion, to what everyone else talks about.
Are there any wild stabs at a plot that you want to take? Because it's something I've always wanted to do. Is that try and completely predict the plot?
Well, I think I know what the plot is. Don't we know from the trailers?
Yeah, but like how it all goes down.
No, they come back.
We know that alien invasion. That's what the trailers say, basically.
Yeah, they come back, but this time we have the technology that we've built over the last 20 years using their tech. So it's a 2016 set in an alternate reality where we had loads of alien technology crash into us, and so we built loads of cool stuff like floating TV screens and big guns. And I think they said in the first one that the maneuverability of their fighter jet equivalents was ridiculous. So I think in this one we're going to see human fighter jets being as good as theirs. However, the aliens have also had 20 years. So are the aliens going to be a stagnant race who've not gone up in 20 years, or have they grown as well?
Well, what if it's not even the same race?
That's interesting. What if the first race was wiped out or just agreed not to come to Earth again because, oh god, that was a bad idea? But didn't...
Oh my god, no. Windows 98 virus!
Hang on, we established in the first one, didn't we, that that the mothership was maybe an arc ship? So it was like the last... we wiped that race out, didn't we?
Oh,
right. That's me maybe misremembering the first film, but I seem to remember that we actually wiped out the alien race. Because they ruined their own home planet. That can be mine.
Yep, that can be your piece of bread.
Piece of bread I just dropped on the floor.
Let's just drop the piece of bread on the floor, went under the cupboards, and it doesn't look like he's...
It's not clean under there.
Is it clean anywhere in this house?
Shut up. And yes, my knives are clean. My good sharp knives are clean.
Sure.
Everything else in the house is filthy. I live like a student.
I know, and you're like...
Except I don't have free money.
You're like 40 as well.
30.
Get a real job.
30, you horrible oik.
Either way, you're on.
I have a real job. I have 4 real jobs. That's more than you've got. Anyway, like I say, I'm pretty sure that they wiped out the aliens because that mothership was an ark, I think. And the aliens had wiped out their own planet through pollution and stuff and had to come to us. I don't think it was an invasion.
So is it like some kind of message to us?
Yeah, that is possibly me.
Like, oh, don't wipe out your planet.
Yeah, I might be conflating this with Ender's Game a bit, but
they didn't wipe out their planet. We should do a podcast on that.
We should. I know a bit about Ender's Game. Anyway,
yeah.
No, I might have mixed it up with something else. So we'll watch this movie and find out if I'm right. But it could be another alien race. But yes, anyway, what the plot? I reckon that humans will win.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like, we know there's going to be a lot of destruction. We know that some cities are going to go up.
To be honest, I don't think I want to guess the plot. But you please feel free to have a stab at it and see what you come up with.
Okay, well, I haven't actually thought about this that much. So let's see. Aliens are gonna come. There's gonna be we're gonna sense the aliens coming in some way.
Yeah, using our magic new tech.
Yeah, we're gonna
psychics.
Or that, one or the other.
Probably not that.
Oh no!
I hope it's not that.
They'll probably, like the last one, they'll just go past a satellite, and that's how we'll run. It'll be exactly the same as the first one. How we see them. They'll go past a satellite.
Wouldn't surprise me if that's what happens.
Bump into a satellite or something, because that happens in space all the time.
Yeah, satellites bumping into each other.
Yeah.
Just like in Gravity when Sandra Bullock bumps into everything.
Yeah.
Because space.
Oh god.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
So that'll happen. We'll see that they're coming, and we'll be like, oh well, at least we prepared in time, and then there'll be lots of motivational speeches with all our fancy new screens.
Yeah, and then we'll get smashed.
And then some shit will go down over like it looks like Dubai first. So that be like an opening action sequence maybe?
Perhaps, yeah. That would make sense. Like a first wave invasion, and we're all confident, and it goes wrong. That'd be a good opener.
And then I think there's going to be a battle over London, which we're going to lose.
Wouldn't surprise me. They're going to blow up Big Ben or something.
No, they dropped Dubai on it in the trailers.
What? How do you drop Dubai on London? That makes no sense. Maybe I've not seen that trailer.
Oh yeah, it's good. Because they fly over Dubai and the ship is so big it has its own gravity, and so Dubai just rises up.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then they somehow, I don't know how, drop it over London.
I might have something to say about that.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, alright, that sounds interesting. It's nice to see Britain being involved.
Well, it's because there's not many cities left, and London, since the Olympics, has become an international city that everybody recognises, hence why it's been in lots of action
It's
movies.
been one of the three main cities of fashion forever.
Yes,
London,
but
Milan, Paris. Or London, Milan, New York.
Look at how many action movies it's been in recent years compared to before 2012.
That's true.
Like, we've had Thor Ragnarok, we've had London Has Fallen, we've had Fast and Furious stuff.
We had Mass Effect 3.
I don't know that.
Or possibly 2. It's a game, not a movie, but one of those games had the final battle in one of those games was in London for some reason. And certainly in the opening credits, the opening dramatic thing, when it was kind of aliens have taken over most of the world by now kind of situation, and Earth is under attack for the first time.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were like refugees running away from alien robots in London, and there's a guy up in the Big Ben Tower with a sniper rifle shooting the robot aliens. It's really good. And then someone blows up Big Ben, so he bites it.
I think that the way it's going to end...
Play Mass Effect, readers.
I think the way it's going to end is going to be another final battle that's going to be over like the army base or something. Oh, there's a moon base. Maybe that's the first thing that gets...
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Maybe that's probably the opening sequence. Got it, moon base.
Moon base, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I think the closing one is going to be like humanity's on its last leg. The aliens are about to wipe out
a couple of plates.
The last place where humans are, or like the place where the army is, or something. One of those things. And then.
That's a terrible place.
There's nowhere else in your kitchen.
How about here?
That's really far away.
I'm shocked.
Yes, and then while the aliens are doing that, putting all the concentration on that, they'll leave some kind of weakness available, and our main heroes, Liam Hemsworth and whoever else, we'll have forgotten about them for some reason. We'll be distracted, and then they'll come at the last minute, shoot the aliens in their weak spot, aliens explode or whatever. We'll live happily ever after.
There is definitely going to be an alien weak spot, isn't there?
Definitely. And then I think it's going to be after that we find out that Will Smith's character didn't actually die, and that he is signed on for the third one. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, why would we think that Will Smith died? He survived till the end of the...
We've seen it in the trailers.
Oh yeah, he's got a grave or something, hasn't he?
I think we see his plane crashing. He was flying one of the
come on, trailers! Stop spoiling your movies.
Well, I think it's just to say don't expect Will Smith in this movie, which is quite honest. Or also, if you went into cinema expecting a Will Smith movie, you'd be quite disappointed to not have a Liam Hemsworth movie.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum hasn't done any interesting movies since Independence Day, whereas Will Smith catapulted his career with it, and is now a massive megastar.
I don't know, Jurassic Park was before Independence Day.
Yeah, Goldblum hasn't done anything since Independence Day. Jurassic Park was before the Jeff Goldblum. Oh, it's also after. Yeah, he turned up again, didn't he? So really, Jeff Goldblum just turns up in sequels now.
But also, was he in the Grand Budapest Hotel?
I don't know, really.
Yes, he was. He was a doctor.
I like him plenty. I just don't think he's got...
Willem Dafoe killed his cat.
Okay. I've got to watch that movie.
You'll love it. It's hilarious.
But Jeff Goldblum's a bit of a non-actor, in my opinion.
He is weird.
He doesn't have much. I know. I like him. I like when I see him in something, I go, "Hey, it's Jeff Goldblum." You know, in a happy kind of a way. But nonetheless, it's just you don't see him in much, and he's not a megastar. You know.
Yeah.
He turned up in an episode of Last Week Tonight, the John Oliver magazine show thing.
Yeah, like his personality is quite cool.
Oh, he's great.
I do like him. What do you think he's going to be like in this movie?
Old, experienced, possibly haggard,
Okay.
possibly shouting at people and saying, "You don't understand! I'm the expert here, I know things, and you don't know things. Listen to me." And then they're going to ignore him until right at the end when it turns out the guy who was right last time was right this time.
Ah, yeah, probably.
That's my Jeff Goldblum prediction.
Okay. Who do you think is going to be the best actor?
Jeff Goldblum.
Is it going to be Jeff Goldblum, or is he just going to be very sort of in the... I mean, Liam Hemsworth is also not going to be great.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's still got to surprise me.
He basically just is.
Mhm.
I don't think I've seen him in much, to be honest. But
who else is there? Well, there's Brent Spiner.
yes, he should be dead. Let's watch that scene very carefully in Independence Day because I'm reasonably sure he's dead. Pretty sure he has his neck snapped. Oh, spoilers for 1996's Independence Day.
Yeah.
Poor old Data gets his neck snapped.
What about what's the other guy's name? The president.
Bill something.
Bill Pullman.
Murray. Paxman. Pullman. One of them.
Pullman. He's my best actor.
Actually, he completely smashed it in the first one.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he smashes it again. He's not in much, that guy.
No, he's not.
He's very good.
He is. He's worth it.
Okay, that's breakfast cooked.
Yeah, I think.
And I think that's all of our interesting thoughts in the run-up to this movie.
Yeah.
I am very much looking forward to seeing Independence Day again for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But I am kind of, with Resurgence, I'm just, let's get this over with. Let's find out. Kind of like Batman vs Superman,
Well, I mean,
that's
what you like with all sequels these days.
I am. And I've really yet to be proven right. Apocalypse was kind of...
Star Wars?
That one... sorry, I'm yet to be proven wrong, except for Star Wars. That one I was excited for.
That's not a sentence. I'm yet to be proven wrong, except...
Star Wars is always a good exception, though.
No, it's not.
I think it is. Star Wars is Star Wars.
Prequels.
Star Wars is Star Wars. It's something different.
What about Star
It's
Trek?
not just a movie.
What about Star Trek from like 2009 or whatever?
No, that was alright. Wrath of Khan was terrible.
It was good.
And
it was really
No.
good. Like bringing a team together, it was.
No,
you know
didn't
it was.
enjoy it. And the new one looks completely meh. It looks more like Hellboy 2 than it looks like Star Trek anything.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Also, not Wrath of Not Khan just is not a good way of doing a second movie. Either do Wrath of Khan or don't. Benedict Cumberbatch was not Khan. He was just carrying Khan's name. It was. I did quite like RoboCop in that. RoboCop was good.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name. But yeah, I would love this movie to be good.
Yeah.
But I'm very much going in with a sense of let's just get this over with and find out if it's good.
Yes.
And if I wasn't recording this podcast, I wouldn't be paying to see this at the cinema.
I think I might be the same. I'd see what reviews say. Anyway, okay. I think we're done with this, but
Yes.
cool.
Let's go watch Independence Day 1 and Independence Day 2, and we'll see you on the other side. And
Yeah.
we'll also enjoy our breakfasts.
Yay, breakfast. Woo! Okay, so we just finished the first Independence Day.
Yes.
How was that, Ross?
Oh, I love this movie so much. It really is one of the best movies. I don't think this movie has been topped. So many attempts.
Well, I mean, in this genre, there have been better
There are
movies
better
than this.
movies, yes. But this is one of the best movies, and it is one of the best, and it is possibly the best sci-fi movie. It is the best disaster movie.
It's the best disaster movie. It's not really the best sci-fi movie.
Well, I don't. No, maybe
From a
not.
sci-fi
Because
perspective.
Star Wars.
You're saying a lot of things. Star Wars isn't even sci-fi.
Well, I suppose not. It's space opera.
You're going back on a lot of things you say.
Star Wars is space opera. In which case, if Star Wars is not the same genre as this, then this is probably the best movie of this genre. Because it's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, disaster.
And I think it holds up.
I think disaster movies is the genre it can be classed in, and it is the best of that.
Yes. Well, yeah, in my opinion, disaster movies are mostly rubbish. I don't think I've seen one that's any good apart from this one. I've not seen one I've enjoyed. But, oh my god, this movie is just the arch example of disaster movies. This was the first one, you know? I mean, the 80s and early 90s... Well, the 80s was typified by, at least in my memory, as being the time of Terminator and RoboCop and Judge Dredd.
Mm-hmm.
And the 90s was kind of the kicking off of further, a bit more out there sci-fi, a bit higher concept stuff, and the beginning of the disaster movie. Quite a lot of that was Independence Day.
Yeah.
And it just, there's been so many imitators. So many aliens and meteors and tidal waves and things that are destroying the Earth that just haven't come close.
Yeah, you're right.
And I can't think of one that came before this. I really think Independence Day was the first. The first big one. The one that really catapulted the genre.
Yeah.
And the imitators have just not succeeded.
A lot of it's down to the actors all having massive charisma.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, your pick for best... I can't remember who your pick for best actor was. It was Will Smith, wasn't it?
No, it was...
Bill
Pullman.
Yeah. And I picked Jeff Goldblum. They were both great, but Will Smith, I think we both had forgotten how great Will Smith was in this movie.
Well, I was talking about for the Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, because Will Smith's not in that one. Yeah, Will Smith smashed it in this movie.
Yeah.
Those three leads were amazing.
Yeah.
Just all the little moments with Will Smith just saying sassy things was brilliant. I mean,
I'd love to know how much of it was improvised.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that. But yeah, like the chemistry between the two of them once they met and got on the ship, that was really good. The speech. Yeah, it's
a good speech.
I do love a good rousing speech.
Yeah.
And for my money, that might be one of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Aragorn at the Battle of the Morannon is up there.
Mm-hmm.
Theoden at the Pelennor Fields, both in the same movie. But possibly my favourite movie of all time, so it doesn't surprise me much that a big speech turns up that I really like in that one.
Yeah.
What are the other giant major speeches?
I don't know.
Idris Elba in Pacific Rim. Cancelling the apocalypse. That was good.
I don't know.
I think that was amazing.
Anything good in Star Wars?
I don't think there were any big speech. I suppose there was the sort of planning the Death Star assault in A New Hope. At the end of which, the guy says, "May the Force be with you," even though nobody seriously believes that there's such a thing as Jedi anymore.
Yeah.
And Luke isn't one yet, so really there aren't any Jedi. And he says, "May the Force be with you" anyway. I didn't quite get that one.
No, me neither.
That was weird. So that speech doesn't count.
That's a great speech.
Oh, Princess Leia's leaving Hoth. That was quite good.
Some good ones in Avengers.
Oh, Captain America's arming up speech in New York. Well, not arming up, so mid-battle.
Well, that wasn't really a speech. That was more of a just sort of directing a battle. Just like, you do this, you do that, Hulk
Yeah,
smash.
but it was also inspirational.
There was one in Age of Ultron. I forget how it finished, but how it started. But he finished it with like, "This will be tough. If you die, walk it off."
No, that was good.
It was a speech that finished with that.
Yeah, that was when they were gonna. That was when they were going to Sokovia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they were gonna fight Ultron's forces. Yeah, if you die, walk it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Cap can do good speeches. And I mean, he is. Hawkeye and Black Widow notwithstanding, he is the weakest Avenger. He's the weakest meta-human. Anyway, weakest non-human Avenger, and yet he is possibly the most necessary Avenger. Which is why post-Civil War world is going to be very strange. I really like the idea that there's going to be 2 Avengers teams.
Yeah, that's going to be all good.
That has precedent in the comic book. Post-Civil War, that has precedent.
Have you seen the How It Should Have Ended video for Captain America Civil War?
Is it the two just apologising to each other?
No, it's pretty much in that war room, where Thunderbolt Ross comes in and says, this all wrong. And then Captain goes, "But weren't you going to fire a nuke at New York? That was going to kill a lot of people. What was that going to do? Like, shower New York in hugs?"
He also dropped Abomination on Harlem.
Yeah.
And then subsequently dropped Hulk on Harlem to try and stop it.
Yeah, but he's come from the same point as Tony Stark at that point, where he's caused destruction. He's probably thought, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, he is due to become the Red Hulk, and I hope he does. Because then the Avengers are going to have to fight him.
Yeah.
Like, if only there wasn't quite so much collateral damage from the Avengers. Rah! Smash! General Thunderbolt Ross smash!
But so, do you think this next Independence Day film will be on par with this one?
No, it will not be. But I'm calling it will not be as good. Even if it's amazing, it won't be as good.
Do you think it'll have any relationships in it? Because obviously this one had a couple of relationships that you actually felt.
I felt like I cared. I get the feeling this one's going to be sterile. I really want to be proved wrong. I really want this next movie to be amazing. But I'm slightly worried it won't be. It's just... I mean, we've spotted a couple of potential continuity errors as well.
Yeah, we have.
So
like, when the alien ships come down, then you see a news report
In the
saying
first wave,
they're hovering above all these major cities, Paris, Moscow, London, but then in the trailers for the new one, we've seen London getting destroyed in present day.
yeah.
So like, well, I was a ship over London 20 years ago. What
Yeah,
happened there?
because we know that attack was coordinated. We know that they all fired at basically the same moment. We also know that we had no way of stopping them. So every explosion that we saw of the White House and the Empire State Building also happened in London and and Moscow and all the other cities you just listed. So London should be destroyed.
Yes.
And yet we know London exists in the new one. So did they rebuild it exactly as it was? Are they going to explain this?
Maybe they rebuilt Parliament.
Maybe they rebuilt that particular bit.
We see Tower Bridge in the trailers. We see Tower Bridge. We see Parliament. We see London Eye.
They could have rebuilt some bits of it. Yeah, that's fair. I hope they bring that up. Otherwise, it's going to be a major continuity.
I mean, London Eye is
mistake.
fine because that was built in the last 20 years.
That's true.
Parliament is the sort of thing you would rebuild.
Yeah, but would you rebuild it exactly the same?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Tradition and all the rest. Similarly,
we Brits love tradition.
I'm reasonably certain that Brent Spiner's dead. How dare he be in this movie? Look, Jane from Firefly shot, and a few other people, shot a whole load of bullets into that room. And I know they were probably aiming at the alien, but they could well have hit him. But more to the point, the alien had possibly broken his neck and throttled him by this point, and then threw him across the room. But my main point is that Jane comes over and puts his hand on Brent Spiner's neck and does the pulse checky thing, and then he looks up in a way that, to me, shows sadness, anger, and a lust for revenge. And does not at any point say, "This man is still alive, get a medic in here, please." He then goes and execution style shoots the alien to bits.
Yeah.
To me, that is a man checking a body, discovering it's dead, and then vengeance killing the thing that killed it. Brent Spiner is dead. And unless they say something major about how he's not dead, like, it's a good job I survived that thing, and it's a good job that guy from the military was terrible at checking pulses. Something.
So what do you want out of this new film? Obviously,
I want it not to exist, frankly.
We want a bit of exposition as to how Brent Spiner is alive, as to how
London is not a smoking crater.
Like, they could just ignore the London bit. I would moderately be okay with that, just like kind of continuity error because they didn't plan to make a sequel, and so that's where.
But when you're making a sequel, rewatch the original movie and check.
Yeah.
You know, when you write London is existing, go check the original movie and see if London wasn't one of the cities you wrecked.
But this is the difference between Marvel and X-Men, is that Marvel plan their movies, whereas X-Men seem to do a movie, leave some stuff open, and then the next movie just actually, we don't want things to be that way. Let's just pretend it didn't.
Let's pretend that didn't happen. Exactly. Let's write out the last 3 movies so they don't.
Whereas Marvel have a plan for the next 15
but
years.
Mark, you don't need a plan necessarily. You just need to check the thing that you were watching before. You know, this happens.
It's not even that, because X-Men limit themselves by like, okay, so now Magneto has Wolverine. Sorry, Mystique has Wolverine now, which would be fine. But then in the next film they decide not to go that direction, and so they just
there's a
ignore
big gap. Yeah, it's very annoying. This gets me a lot in any TV show, usually sitcoms, that are written by committee, because in season 2 they'll set up a bit of canon information, and then in season 4 something will happen that renders that totally to have been untrue. You know, Friends had quite a lot of it, in which they would have personality traits of the friends that they are really strongly opinionated about, and then a couple of seasons later they just behave totally differently.
Well, like what, for example?
Joey doesn't share food.
Yeah.
Early seasons, Joey shares food, no problem. Later on, Joey doesn't share food.
Since when does Joey share food earlier on?
Well, you know, they're often eating and having meals together and stuff.
Yeah, but it's normally at Monica's place that Joey comes in and just helps himself from their fridge.
Seems like sharing to me.
It's not his food that he's sharing, though, is it?
Fair enough. But the other one that springs to mind, How I Met Your Mother. Marshall in How I Met Your Mother, in one of the early seasons, gets... he's kind of... A bit of bravado comes up in a pub and he threatens to fight somebody. And then it turns out the other guy doesn't want to fight him, and he kind of breaks down and says, "Oh, thank God, I've never been in a fight in my life. I'm so glad that didn't happen." And then in a later season, he sort of says, no, I totally could win a fight. I'm kind of good in a fight. And everyone else says, no, don't be silly. And then we see some flashbacks to how he and his brothers had always beaten the hell out of each other when they were younger. And Marshall is actually scarily brilliant at fighting.
Yeah.
But season 3 Marshall had never been in a fight in his life.
Fair enough.
Season 5 Marshall is scarily brilliant at fighting and has spent his entire life fighting.
So,
Did you watch the earlier seasons of the show you're writing?
So do you think that this new Independence Day film is going to sort of rewrite any...
I think there's a distinct possibility it's going to ruin it by not actually having rewatched the original movie.
It's very possible, and I think it's just going to be such a basic action movie.
I think you're right.
I think it's going to be below the quality of the original, and like now in 2016 it needs to be way above the quality of the original. Because if that film came out now, the film that we just watched, it wouldn't be great. It'd be very average.
No, it would be a great movie, but with very old rubbish special effects.
Well, no, not that. Just like if that film came out script wise, if it was that, it wouldn't hit.
Disagree. I think it would be amazing.
Films have moved on in the last 20
years.
Well,
I suppose so. You would be comparing it now, but...
This is a film that was amazing 20 years ago.
It's
still amazing because of a little bit of nostalgia that we've got. If that film came out now... This is what's going to happen with Ghostbusters. It's not necessarily a bad film. It's a film that's just not setting a new standard. And everybody's nostalgic about the first Ghostbusters or first two Ghostbusters.
Nostalgia is a powerful tool.
Because it came out at a time... For people at that age, they're like, wow, this is amazing. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
This is going to...
But now this new Ghostbusters is coming out where we've seen this. So that's why it's not going to...
Yeah, Ghostbusters and Independence Day are going to have the same thing. It's going to be clean, flashy, computer-generated special effects. And it's not going to be It's not going to be an example of filmmaking.
And it's the same as the latest X-Men film. That in that X-Men film...
They can do whatever they want.
We've seen all that. X-Men Apocalypse I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've seen cities being wrecked. We've seen Wolverine fight people.
And that's why that film is only...
We've seen Beast jump around.
150th highest grossing film, which is nothing, given that...
Nothing nowadays.
Given that Deadpool is in the top 50.
Yeah, and Deadpool was made in a budget of about £1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every movie these days... just comes in the same mould of incredibly clean CGI, and no one has to do any clever filmmaking to achieve anything. You just make it all on a computer.
Well, it's not every movie. Like, I watched...
No, not every movie, but every big blockbuster.
I watched London Has Fallen recently. Some really good scenes, really good filmmaking in it. That is completely a blockbuster.
There are slight different examples, but, I mean, the miniatures that were used to make Independence Day made everything seem real.
Yes, but so does the CGI in Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron was an example of really good CGI.
Yeah.
But when you want an example of really bad CGI, you go straight to the Star Wars prequels.
Well, yes.
And they're appalling. Because everything looks... If it was actually a cartoon, then it would have been probably okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've watched a couple of episodes of The Clone Wars, and that kind of works. It's a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Real movies shouldn't be like that.
But CGI can work well. I don't think you've seen San Andreas, that destruction movie with The Rock in it.
No, I haven't.
CGI in that, absolutely flawless. Cities falling apart, getting destroyed, absolutely flawless. But the film itself is just not great. They could have done that with miniatures, and it probably wouldn't have looked as good, because they wouldn't have been able to do as much.
Yeah, CGI means you can do whatever you want, and I feel like there's less creativity in it. Just look at Alien. One of the reasons why Alien worked so well was because everything looked real. Because everything was real. And the reactions of the actors when John Hurt's chest explodes, they didn't know what was going to happen. The actors actually reacted. Mm-hmm. That scene they were given wrong scripts for that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And their reactions are actual. You wouldn't do that nowadays. You just do a CGI thing coming out and you'd have them acting next to a green blob. And say, this green blob is scary, act scared, and then we would CGI in something else.
I think we've passed that now anyway. Look at Star Wars.
Yeah, look at Star Wars.
There were 2 CGI characters in the latest film.
Yes, that is going back to the proper way of doing things, I think, but that is an anomaly. Look, I'm going to use the prequels again. Ewan McGregor is a great actor, but he doesn't have anything to act off of when it's him in a green room with no props and no people.
Yeah.
And he just walks around and sits on a green chair, and they CGI in a chair, and they CGI in someone for him to talk to. Of course course he's going to look like a terrible actor. He's amazing as Ewan McGregor, and I just think he should have been given some real people to talk to, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I think J.J. Abrams or one of the other people closely involved in the Episode 7 stuff should direct Ewan McGregor in an Obi-Wan Kenobi film set somewhere between Luke leaving in A New Hope, him meeting Luke in A New Hope, and him dropping Luke off at the end of Episode 3.
Well, I disagree, because you would treat it the same way that you think about Han Solo movie.
But I don't need Han Solo's origins.
You don't need...
But I've already got Obi-Wan's origins.
Well, yeah, and you don't... Well, no, you don't. You could have Obi-Wan as a kid and how he found the Jedi.
I definitely don't want that.
And then you could have Obi-Wan in the desert, like, doing stuff there.
I feel like there's a good story to tell there.
No, the story is he hangs about the desert and just gets to know Luke.
No, because he is a good man, and it's a corrupt city. Yeah, it's a corrupt place. The Hutts are in charge. They're gamblers. There's potentially some slaving going on. The Jawas are a sort of semi-criminal underclass, possibly. You know, he wouldn't want to use his Jedi powers because partly because he's guilty about what he's been involved in. He would certainly not want to get a lightsaber out. He wouldn't want to allow anyone to know who he was, because that would give away Luke. It would be really compelling, I think, to have a crisis happen.
I don't think so.
And have him deal with it. That'd be great.
Well, it would be based a lot on the story that's happened in the prequels, or him hiding and stuff. So if you look in Episode 4, he's not hiding. He's dressed as a Jedi.
He's not.
He is. We'll get to that. And he's waving his lightsaber about as though nobody knows what a Jedi is. Doesn't make sense, because Jedi were around about 20 years ago and they all wore that uniform.
No, they didn't.
They did.
That's prequels getting it wrong.
It is, exactly.
Because,
and so if you did...
Because Uncle Owen isn't a Jedi.
And so if you did something with Obi-Wan in the desert between Episodes 3 and 4, that's where you'd get some...
You'd have to pick which version of him you use.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the point. We see part of his transition.
I don't like it.
By the time... When Luke's grown up, and he knows he's about to get Luke completely well out of there, he reveals his Jedi-ness only to save Luke's life.
Maybe.
Also, by then he's an old man. He can't martial arts somebody. He has to use the advantage of having a lightsaber.
True.
Jedi don't necessarily wear robes. They all wear robes in Episode 4 because the two Jedi we know live on a desert planet where everyone wears robes. The Jawas wear robes and they're not Jedi. Uncle Owen wears robes and he's not a Jedi. It's not that Jedis wear robes, it's that people who live in deserts wear robes, and Han Solo didn't have enough spare costumes on the Millennium Falcon for them all to get changed.
Makes sense.
So the prequels just... I don't know if George Lucas even watched Episode 4. I mean, he made it, but I don't know if he watched it when he was planning the prequels. He's like, oh, Mace Windu, he lives in a city. Give him a robe, because he's a Jedi. Or is he a Jawa? Because the Jawas all wore robes.
I'll point out, at the end of Episode 7, Luke Skywalker was wearing robes. Whereas other than Episode 4, he doesn't wear a robe.
He's an old man living on a windswept island. I can kind of see why he'd wear a robe. I can let him have that.
Where did he get it from?
I don't know. He's been travelling a bit.
Did he pack? Like, I'm going to live on this island, right? What do I need? I imagine he was just more sort of go and live on that island and just make clothes out of grass or something.
Expecting to find Luke Skywalker butt naked but with a leaf glued to his crotch. That'd be interesting.
That'd be drama for you.
Drama!
Okay.
Space opera!
We've got off topic.
We have a bit.
I think we should wrap this bit up.
Yes. Independence Day is amazing. I so hope Resurgence is good. But, the other thing... continuity error as well, just possibly. You said that you reckon it's going to be a whole different group of aliens. Better be, because we just genocided the original group of aliens.
Yeah.
It was a kind of minor point when Mr. President gets sort of mind melded with the alien, and it reveals the plan. They are a species that their entire species is in that mothership. And they travel around wrecking planets and destroying them and taking all their natural resources and then going on. entire civilization. So we committed genocide. If it's the same aliens that come back, major continuity error. But I feel like that's the kind of thing that they might have forgotten about because it was a relatively minor scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they start the next movie with, hey, remember that mothership that we tried to blow up but didn't? Like, that would be something that they're not going to make a mistake of, because that was a major scene. They'd remember that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they might forget that, and they might really ruin it.
Yeah, they might.
I mean, it's possible that the alien was lying, I suppose, but I get the feeling that you can't lie in a telekinetic link like that. You know, but also there's no indication that it was lying, so you'd have to really retcon that out. Like, you know, there's another mothership. Turns out they were lying about that whole our civilization is on one ship kind of thing. They'd have to explain that, and I really hope that I hope it's good. That's the overall thing. I just hope it's good. Please don't be bad. Please don't Kingdom of the Crystal Skull it. Please don't Star Wars prequels it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so...
Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway.
Because if they ruin this one, it will just crap all over my childhood.
Just quickly, would you like to make a deal that if this film we watch now is good, like it's good, because we're not expecting it to be good, are we?
No.
So if we're happily surprised that we enjoy it, what do you say about watching Ghostbusters? Because we've already established the kind of soon. They kind of fall into the same category of a sequel that we're not really expecting to be very good because the first one was very nostalgic.
I don't want to give Ghostbusters money.
Yeah, but that's because you're making a judgment based on trailers and you're
making a judgment based on Ghostbusters.
And you're looking at the nostalgia as well. Like, it's not going to be as good as...
Look, I'm going to see Ghostbusters eventually, but I also saw Amazing Spider-Man and I was right about that. It was awful.
Really? You can be right about things. Doesn't mean you're right about all things.
True. Right, if this movie is good, I will go see Ghostbusters, but under duress.
What do you mean?
I won't be happy about it.
Fine.
I do not expect you to not let me complain.
Fine, okay.
I reserve the right to complain, and I'm not sexist if I think Ghostbusters is pants.
Yeah, calling that now. Good chat.
It's not sexist to say that Ghostbusters is rubbish. And look, we talked about this.
Actually, it's one thing that we mentioned in the film. Oh, we're doing another podcast.
Oh God, we're back. Yes,
I said.
Go for it.
If as two white people, if we see a white person say, "Hey, that looks similar to this other white actor," that's fine. If I were to say that about another race,
an Iranian, I think possibly, Middle Eastern gentleman,
is what I did. Then it's
#racist.
It's counted as racist.
Yeah. What? You think all people from the Middle East look alike? No, just that guy and the other guy who I thought he looked like.
Maybe the same person, maybe not. Who knows?
Exactly.
Wears a beard the same way, looks about the same sort of weight and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not racist to think that two people of a race other than your own look similar to each other. That's not racist. It's just that they look similar.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all people of that race look like each other, just that one and the one I thought he was.
Yeah.
Though, in this movie, I pointed out partway through, there's a lot of different relationships in this. Yeah. There's father-son, there's husband-wife, there's fiancé, there's estranged husband and wife, there's kid to parent, little kid to grown-up parent, grown-up person to their elder parent. Brilliant. But Harry pointed out, yes, there aren't that many relationships, though, because there are two heterosexual relationships which are organised entirely by skin colour.
Yeah, two white people and two black people.
Yep. Couldn't possibly have a mixed race relationship. Couldn't possibly have a homosexual relationship. So it wasn't very progressive.
Nah. I mean, there was that joke that happened near the start.
Oh yes, where the guy appears to propose to Will Smith, and it's not treated as if it's freakish.
Yeah, it was good. Which
I thought was good. That was probably pretty progressive for 1996. For them to have kind of a heteroerotic relationship.
Well, no, it was probably a joke, sort of like, well, you guys are gay, that's weird. That was the joke, but just now, when you look at it in the context of now, it's still fine.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming, this is a basic assumption, that just back then it was probably not meant in good taste, but just the way it's portrayed comes across either way.
Exactly.
Cool. Let's stop talking about this.
Let's wrap that up. That was a bonus section about why Ghostbusters is going to be terrible. There was another thing though. When we talked about Ghost in the Shell and with Scarlett Johansson being cast, and I quoted Max Landis's point, that the problem isn't that they've cast Scarlett Johansson in an Asian role, it's that there aren't any major female Asian actors at the moment that they could cast in a major role. So look to the lower level of movies, look to your TV shows and your sitcoms and wonder, why aren't they casting Asian actors in that? Why aren't they casting black actors? Why aren't they casting more minority actors or more internationally actors?
Yeah.
And that's a really good point. But in the same vein, Ghostbusters, yes, okay, it's going to be a major budget film with 4 female leads. Brilliant. But why not write a new major budget movie and cast female leads in it? Instead of making them the gender-flipped versions of 4 people who we already know about, why not just write a new movie and cast women in the role? You know, you don't have to steal a man's role to make women look good. Women can look good by themselves. Isn't this obvious to people? Write a new movie with a bunch of women in it who are awesome, strong characters, but not the Ghostbusters. You know, how hard can it be? And don't say the Sex and the City movie, because that was just a train wreck. Also, I really don't think they were strong female characters. I think they were really awful people. You know?
I don't know, I haven't seen it. But
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Mulan. That Final Fantasy movie.
There have been movies, there's just not enough.
That Final Fantasy movie was Dr. Aki. She was voiced by the same woman who voiced Mulan, who is also Agent What's-Her-Face in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So she's basically all of the strong women that I can name off the top of my head.
What about Alien?
Oh yeah, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. Didn't need her to play the female version of a male character from 30 years ago. They just wrote a movie which had a strong female character in it.
Yeah.
Well done, Alien, for creating a new idea and putting a woman in the lead role.
Yeah.
Let's have that instead of Ghostbusters.
Well, tough.
Well, exactly. Also, Melissa McCarthy's just not funny. I
might-
really don't think she's funny.
She might be.
I think Kristen Wiig is great. She was amazing in The Martian.
And Chris Hemsworth is the one I'm looking forward to the most. In
Yes.
this film.
Which does make you sound sexist.
It does, really.
But just because we don't like the 4 women in this, but do like the one guy in it, doesn't mean we're sexist. It just means we like that guy.
I mean, that's what Ross is saying. I'm not necessarily not.
I really like Kristen Wiig.
I like
But
that.
I don't think she's exceptionally funny. I thought she was great in The Martian, but she wasn't great in Bridesmaids.
I mean, we'll judge it once we've seen it.
Well, that's true, we will. I will judge it loudly and harshly.
Yeah.
Not sexist if we hate Ghostbusters.
Right.
Hashtag not sexist if we hate Ghostbusters.
Let's stop dawdling. Right, let's wrap this up.
Yes! Let's go watch Resurgence. Woo!
Okay. Okay, Ross. So we're back now. We're back from the film,
Hello.
and what we're going to do is we're going to do a spoiler free for a very short time.
Spoiler-free review. It's atrocious. Sorry, Harry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say do a spoiler free review in one sentence. Okay, 2 words.
I'll do it in one word. Atrocious. I can expand on that before spoilers, but that is my one-word review.
I would say it is not worth seeing at the cinema. I will not be watching this film again, probably not even ironically.
I won't watch this film ironically, I will not watch the sequel, and I'm going to tweet at Roland Emmerich today and ask him for my money back.
If there is a sequel. I mean, it's been out for 2.5 weeks and it's in the top 400. Sorry, it's in the top 500.
This film was so bad that we've both started drinking at just before 4 in the afternoon. Now, neither of us are really heavy drinkers, but we're on the whiskey right now. Because this film has just driven us to it.
Okay, so now we're going to do spoilers, and what we're going to do...
Can we review a bit more before we go to spoilers? Do we need to?
There's not really much more to say.
If our review is don't watch this movie,
there's not.
Then people who haven't seen it won't see it, so they won't need to listen to much more. All right, post spoilers then.
What we're going to do is we are going to take it in turns and try and name 50 things we don't like about this film. So I'm going to go first.
Let's start. All right, spoilers from here, listeners.
Spoilers from here. I'm going to go first. There was no Will Smith, not even a cameo.
Well, yeah.
Photos don't count.
Yep, that was terrible.
I was hoping he was going to just walk out of one of the spaceships at the end.
Yep.
He did not.
They cast discount Daisy Ridley instead of actual Daisy Ridley.
That's 2, yeah. They cast Liam Hemsworth instead of not Chris Hemsworth, but just
Anybody good.
Somebody with a bit of charisma.
Yeah. As Will Smith's son, discount Will Smith.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah. He was reasonably awful.
There were no strong females, not even the president, really.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they used
She was a female president, but she wasn't...
They used the...
she wasn't strong.
They used the, we haven't come up with a good female character, so we'll make the president female, and it'll look like we've got a strong female character, but then they'll kill her. So, yeah, that can count as mine, strong female president trope.
Yeah.
Except she wasn't that strong.
Was it? Oh, that's kind of mine. Okay. Apart from Jeff Goldblum, do you know anybody's name?
Don't even know his name. The character.
Oh, David.
Oh, his name's David.
Because the dad always goes, "That's my David," or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yep. Okay. So didn't remember anybody's name. The final scene with the alien queen all being shot at running through the desert was actually quite a good scene. However, it was quite clearly written with that scene in mind and an entire movie to make it to that scene.
Okay. Did the president die?
Yes.
Did Bill Pullman die?
Yes.
See, I don't even remember him dying. That's one of
mine. He died by flying directly up into the middle of the alien spaceship. Just like the last one.
Oh, yes, he did, didn't he?
Just like how they took out the last one. They were surprised it worked. Or at least they didn't seem to think about it. Like, hey, why don't we try the thing we did last time? Nobody ever said that. Alright, go on. Yours is the next one.
So number 11 now. The explosion that happened in the force field at the end, that was supposed to go from there to Houston.
Yeah, kill everyone between here and Houston is what they
didn't
said.
even fill up the force field range.
Yep, so they didn't need the force field. That was pretty clear.
Well, I mean, they did, because they were on the edge of the force field.
If they hadn't been standing there, everyone would have been totally fine.
Yeah, but if they hadn't been standing there, then the alien ship wouldn't have come towards them. They were bait.
No, the flying fake sphere was bait. Yeah. Oh, they did do a good force field explosion earlier when they put the little clamps on the rockets inside the ship so that the rockets wouldn't blow up the ship. So it proved that they can do it, but didn't. What I'm going to go with is, in Independence Day, they managed to not make everything seem like a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, the dad... Jeff Goldblum's dad gets picked up at random by some kids, then accidentally finds a school bus, then accidentally finds his way to Area 51 at exactly the right time to see his own son. There was no reason for that. That was atrocious. That was terrible coincidence.
Yeah, there was no point in it.
No relevance, no need for him to be there. He didn't add anything to the story or anything to fighting the aliens or anything like that.
Well, I mean, drama. There was an alien chasing a school bus of kids for no reason.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. They literally put the kids in there so that they could have them be chased by the Queen 5 minutes later. I should have been able to predict that even.
Mm-hmm. So that's yours at number 12, I think.
That's mine, yeah. Hope you're counting. I'm drinking.
I probably miscounted. There was a ring of satellites around the planet. That's great. When they went to fire, they put a countdown on them.
Yeah, why not just fire them?
Fire them straight away.
That's good.
Then they wouldn't get destroyed by the alien ship.
Yep. Everybody's a fighter pilot. Why is everyone a fighter pilot? The guy whose job is to sit in the back seat in a space tug and work the mechanical grabby claws, later on, sits in a fighter jet, can fly it. I understand that flying fighter jets is more difficult than that. He was a trained space engineer working the clampy things, and he wasn't even very good at that. At least we know why cheap Chris Hemsworth could do it, because he'd previously been a fighter pilot, and we had that set up kind of badly.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me on to my next one. So you do one, and then I'll do my next one.
Oh God, what was it? Oh, I've forgotten it. God damn it! It was the second countdown. It was another time where they did a countdown. Oh yes, it was when they'd flown into the ship. And this is kind of a double actually. They flew into the ship and there was nobody attacking them, and nobody was sort of like, huh? They just flew into the ship with no problem at all.
Yeah.
As though that wasn't the plan initially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
why didn't they do that first? You can have that one. That could be yours.
yeah, I'll do that, and you go.
Mine can be my next one can be the utterly pointless love triangle between the daughter of the president and the son of Will Smith and a third person.
Yeah.
That was weird. Because we said watching Independence Day, I wonder if those two will get together. And they maybe did, then sort of didn't, then Liam Hemsworth turned up. And I'm slightly worried that the reason Liam Hemsworth turned up was because you couldn't have a white girl end up with a black guy.
Quite possible.
Because that's what they didn't... They dodged that in the first one, they dodged that in the second one by adding pointless Liam Hemsworth character. What was his name? Exactly.
You didn't have one.
Yeah, exactly! That love triangle was appalling and possibly racist. I'm not going to say Roland Emmerich's definitely racist, but possibly. It looks suspicious to me. Alright, racist love triangle. That's my thing.
Cool, so that's 14 or 16 or something, I don't know. This isn't going well.
We could do 50 each. I haven't got to the big ones yet.
Yeah, and so when these ships flew inside the other ship, they had to arm their missiles, so the pilots had to say, we're ready. They had to then talk to the general, he was like, okay. He had to then talk to the president, he was like, okay. And then the general had to go, yep, go. And then the pilots had to go, okay, arming now. And just like, what? And then by that point...
You're already at war. You're in the middle of a battle. Why aren't your weapons armed?
Yeah. And then as soon as like, oh no, we don't have any power or whatever, like an EMP clearly happened. That happened. And
I'm glad they didn't say that was an EMP. And that was quite well done.
Yeah, it was good, yeah. But at no point was anybody like, do it now. They were just like, Commander, can we do it now? President, can we do it now? Yes. Yes, you can. And then...
Yeah,
and then they tried, and by that point, these force fields were in place.
Yeah.
That whole sequence took about 20 seconds.
Yep. That was awful. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go to... that's detail that sprung to mind. There's loads more. I'm going to go more general now. I'm going to go to the more general topic. Opening sequence, flying through galaxies and seeing stars and a sort of galaxy-spanning, universe-spanning CGI effect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any of that. It's supposed to be Earth. It's supposed to be Earth is being attacked by aliens, not universe-wide crisis.
Foreshadowing for the sequels.
Yeah, that's about 9 more problems. Sequels. But yeah, that and later on as well, they did a whole thing about like a refugee planet and stuff, and it's like, oh, everyone across the entire universe fears this. It might be a universe-wide problem.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You just did too.
No, it's kind of the same thing.
Okay. So I'm going to go now. I'm number 17, maybe? Yeah. Somebody else keep count. John, you keep count.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, so... One thing I really liked in the first one was just some of the patterns that you'd get. Like, you'd see the ship, and it would be like centre screen, you have the lights all looking beautiful.
Star Wars opening, flying over your head.
Star Wars opening. We still had that in this one, actually.
We did, but it was bad.
No, I really liked that bit.
It was chameleonized for some reason.
But even so, the first one had a lot of iconic shots.
Yep.
This one didn't have any of that.
Nope.
At no point did it look like a sequel to Independence Day. It didn't feel like the same movie.
Yeah, and that comes to what I was saying about the galaxy-wide thing. It just didn't seem like an Independence Day movie. Oh, alright. So, continuity error. London not destroyed. And no explanation given for why London's not destroyed.
Second continuity error. Paris not destroyed, or Eiffel Tower at least not destroyed.
Which Jeff Goldblum said it. They like going for the landmarks, so why didn't they centre it over the Eiffel Tower and wreck it? Yeah. Yep, that should have been... Or at least some explanation of how they'd rebuilt it. Rather than just, oh, it's there now. Yeah. Next continuity error.
Number 20.
Number 20. In the previous movie, the president bonded with an alien in his mind and said this is an entire civilization, and then we blew them up. In this one, more of them turn up.
Yeah.
Massive continuity error. And I called it. I damn well called this one.
Yeah.
I said that it was going to be the same aliens, and I said that they were going to forget the fact that they'd committed genocide on them. So, huge problem. I don't think anyone watched the original movie in prepping this one.
Number 21, Brent Spiner was too much in this movie.
Yes, he was.
Like, he was good in the first one because he was just a little bit of a goofy character, like, for a portion of the movie. This one, like, he was one of the main characters, and I don't know, his acting just wasn't good. It just wasn't right. Although, to maybe win it back, he may have been gay.
Yes, I wish they'd gone... Yeah, okay. My next problem. Why didn't they just go all the way and make him gay?
Yeah.
Right at the end, should have kissed that other bearded guy.
Yeah.
Should have said, I wish we could have got married or something. Make him gay openly and have that bit at the end mean more than just, they knew each other? Like, were they friends? Make them lovers. That would have been fine. That would have been great. Completely swerved that one and they should have gone with it.
Yep.
So that's my next problem. Harry.
No, that's my problem.
You said Brent Spiner was in it too much. I said Brent Spiner should have been gay.
Ah, you stole it. You stole it from me.
No, that's 2. You can have 1.5, half.
No.
What's your next one?
The African man had an English accent. Why not give him an African accent of some kind?
Yep. Wow, this film is a bit racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who the actor is. He could be an African man who's managed to develop an English accent, possibly, but...
Regardless, he's supposed to be an African man. Give him an African accent.
Yeah. The English woman, who's English all the way through, turns out to be French at the end.
Yeah.
That's weird. We find out her surname. Forgot what it was. Don't care. And then she suddenly starts talking French and has a French surname and having a French accent in that final scene, even though she's been English this entire time.
Chinese girl. American accent for no reason.
Even though she's Chinese.
I mean, it's fine.
They establish she's not Chinese-American. They establish she's definitely Chinese. She lives in China.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine if she's developed an American accent, but why not just give her a Chinese accent?
Well...
Why hire an Asian actor if you're just going to make them do an American accent?
Again, she could be a Chinese-American actress, so has a natural American accent. But
even so, she was hired because she was Chinese. She had a Chinese uncle. It was a part of her character was that she was Chinese.
That's true, and she was the great Chinese fighter pilot. They brought it up about 6 times.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make her Chinese, hire a Chinese actress.
Yeah. With
a Chinese accent, rather than American Chinese actress.
Yep. Right, what's yours?
That one annoys me a whole lot. I don't think anyone in this movie knows any geography.
Why? Go on.
Well, there was that ship in the North Atlantic that was apparently in the centre of the mothership where it was doing the drilly thing. How come 5 seconds after the ship took off, they were at the very edge of the ship? And how come if the ship is centred around the North Atlantic, how come it picked up Dubai and accidentally dropped it on London on its way down?
You're going on to a second one now.
That is a second. I've got about 9 about how gravity works.
Okay, well...
We'll get to that. But they don't know any geography.
Let me explain quickly. So...
Okay, you got another one.
Dubai lifted up, London didn't, because it was also there when we saw it.
Yeah.
And in 0 seconds, Dubai was on top of London. Like, that's a long way.
Yeah, given that we know the ship was not going very fast because we saw it crawling along relative to the ground.
Yeah.
Also, so that continuity error there, and I'm going to jump in with the next one. That's not how gravity works.
Go on.
Gravity is an attractive force, yes, and the ship is a very heavy thing. So yes, they would be pulled towards the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But that would mean everything gets pulled towards the ship, including the Earth. So the Earth would be torn apart, at least a bit. But also, why wasn't London lifted up? But also, when the thing floated up, it would just go up and stick to the ship. It wouldn't subsequently fall back down, conveniently dropping the Burj Khalifa on Big Ben, which were the only 2 landmarks I could pick out of the wreckage. I also did fly over
London Eye, and then we saw Tower Bridge and those 2...
Oh yeah.
Those twin buildings from...
Yeah.
Whatever.
That was quite clearly... Well, this is two problems in one, I suppose. That was quite clearly they just wanted to film a scene in London of a thing flying on the Tower Bridge, so they wrote that scene in somehow.
Yeah.
But that's not how gravity works, and then they forgot all about that later. The planes didn't crash into the underside of the ship when they were underneath it. When they were flying above, they didn't have any extra turbulence problems.
It was a different ship. That was all the ship over Area 51? That was a small ship that broke off.
No,
it was because they put a full field around it, didn't it? And it was still all in the desert. That wasn't 3,000 miles wide. That was a different ship.
No, they flew. They flew inside the ship.
Well, but yeah, they flew inside it at one point.
They flew inside the big giant one, didn't they?
And that's where the missiles got caught in the force fields.
Yeah, and they flew over the top when they were first going for the Queen. And they... they should have been smashed into the top surface, or when they were flying underneath it, they should have been smashed into the underside.
Not if they were flying, because their engine was compensated for it. And just
no, you'd get ridiculous turbulence effect, and if you're in a place where gravity is... the buildings underneath the ship were floating in a null gravity kind of place. So if the plane were to go under there, it would basically stop working, because it needs gravity, it needs the right kind of air turbulence and stuff.
True.
And if it was flying above the ship, it would have Earth's gravity and the ship's gravity, and planes can't handle double gravity. So they would have been smashed into the ship.
They can't handle double gravity, because there's those 1-0G planes that do it.
Maybe they had special planes that could survive multiple extra forms of gravity, but why did the ship's gravity just keep changing? That's not how gravity works. Also, you have another one, and then I've got a really big one.
Will Smith's wife died, fell off that helicopter.
Yep.
And that was just because they were dawdling. That was just complete dawdling. And just like, look, a helicopter.
And it gave no motivation to Will Smith's son.
Nah. Well, I mean, he looked a bit emotional when
he had a bit
of a
sad. He had a bit of a sad speech, and then, that was awful. I'm going away from character drama again. I'm going to have anyone involved in this film ever checked how big the moon is, because the ship was, I think, they either said a quarter the size of the moon or the same size as the moon.
Quarter.
Yeah, I think they said it was a quarter. They said the previous one was hiding behind the moon and was tiny in the first one, relative to the moon. This one they said was a quarter the size of the moon. Then when it arrived on Earth, it was at least twice the size of the moon.
And they also said 3,000 miles wide.
Which is not 1/4 the size of the moon. I didn't remember the statement of exact size, but yeah, it was a quarter the size of the moon. And then when it arrived on Earth, it could span about a quarter of the hemisphere. The moon is about the same size as Australia. And this ship covered from about mid-Canada to Russia. When we saw some of the space shots, incidentally, piggybacking another one, Independence Day didn't show very many shots of the Earth from outer space, if any. Everything was all close in, sci-fi gritty. This one was all swinging, flying sci-fi cameras, lots of lasers. It reminded me more than Independence Day. It reminded me of Attack of the Clones. Whizzy lasers, and nobody said, "Oh, you did not shoot that green stuff at me."
No, yeah, that's my next problem. Nobody had the sass of Will Smith. People tried. Liam Hemsworth was trying hard.
Oh, he was working hard.
He was really trying to have that sass.
He was also very trying.
He did not have that sass.
How many problems have we got so far? It must be almost up to 50.
I'm going to go on, I reckon around 31, I think.
Okay.
I have been loosely keeping track of that.
Nobody has checked a map or the size of the moon. What else? Oh, yeah. When the big warrior dude from the African tribe eventually gives some respect to accountancy man, neither of whom I have any reason why they're there, why doesn't he give him a machete? He said, "Give me one of your katana thingies and I'll be a warrior and teach me." And then later on, he earns the man's respect by doing some warrioring. Why didn't he give him a machete and say, "You earned that"? That would have been a great moment. Didn't do it.
Probably because he doesn't want to give it away. Just like, oh,
well, that's the point.
I mean, they came as a pair. Like, my dad gave these to me.
But that's the point. We know that they were important to him. And this guy was a bit of a snivelling wretch before, and now he's fought alongside him and respects him. That would have made it big. There was no payoff to him, to that war leader guy. No payoff to him at all. Apart from when he kind of Gimli'd underneath. He did a Gimli slide underneath the alien and hit him in the back. That's another reason why this movie sucks. I'm putting that one in as a terrible one. Oh, I'm piggybacking a third one. I'm doing 3 in a row.
Wow.
He said that you have to hit them in the back. That's their weak spot. But he didn't tell anybody that And then Liam Hemsworth says to somebody else, "You've got to hit them in the back. That's their weak spot."
Did he? When?
Yeah, when they were shooting the alien queen with the ships.
No, he didn't say anything like that.
He said, "We've got to shoot her in the back." Shoot at the tentacles or something.
Oh, so shoot at the tentacles, yeah.
That's the weak spot, which is the back.
How did he know that?
Well, exactly. How did he know that? The warlord guy, he knew that because they've been fighting a land war with them for 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's learnt it, but he didn't tell anybody that, and Liam Hemsworth doesn't know it.
No.
So that's my 3 in a row.
Wow, so we're on, like, what, 35 now?
35 now, also.
When they were in the hurricane thing...
Oh, yeah.
And they hijacked these ships, they said that they had no manual control.
Oh, yeah, and then suddenly they did have manual control.
And suddenly the fusion drive was working.
Yeah, they had no manual control except for that bit of manual control, what they had.
Yeah.
But nobody said, one line, it's on a separate circuit. We can control that one. Or, she can't control the fusion drive.
Also, the fusion drive, then, was it the female character? Was it her who said, "Oh, no, don't do that, we'll burn up"?
And then they didn't.
And then, like, Liam Hemsworth's like, "Oh, no, we'll be fine, because, we're men." And he didn't say that.
May as well have done.
And he did it.
He may as well have hit a button with his penis at that point. It was such a boys' club.
And they were fine. And
yeah, so fusion
wait,
drive on a separate circuit. That's one.
Yeah.
They didn't. She said they'd burn up, and they didn't. But she clearly knew, so they should have done.
They ignored the woman.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sexist and ignoring the engineering.
They didn't. They didn't burn up, and then as soon as they finished, they had full manual control.
Yeah, why did they get the manual control back? That's a fourth one. So
yeah,
that's several mistakes in about 5 seconds. Oh yeah, and the engines were completely broken. They did a nosedive to shoot at the alien queen, and then the engines worked again for some reason, temporarily, and then they crashed again. Then they didn't work.
I mean, they crash landed because everybody crash landed.
That's right.
Because I can't really make it a problem because it is just the way it is. Everything was connected to the queen.
Yeah, no, they chased her for a bit. They did the dive bomb, and she got the magic orb, and then she ran away, and they had the engines back. And then when she died, then they had the engine loss again.
Okay.
So that's about 4 more.
Yeah. Well, no, that's all the same. Of just
no, I'm calling that 4.
No. They of the 4 I said, it's still just 4. You can't put any extra more in there for them. Still haven't.
Yeah, that's bad.
Okay, you better do some.
Yeah, I better have.
So we're on 39.
Oh God. I'm trying to think back to the earlier parts of the movie. I am kind of starting to run out now. It's just generally so appalling. Far too many lasers and pew pew pews. Not enough tension. Oh, yeah. I'm having 2 in a row. When ex-President Beardyface goes to the prison and then tries to talk to one of the aliens to find out about it and gets himself used as a puppet and whatnot, it fills with unnecessary smoke. The room fills with smoke, so we can't see what's going on. Why did they install that?
Tension.
But there wasn't tension. There was just... It's like... It isn't more tense to watch a movie with your hand covering the left side of the screen. It's the same thing. You just fogged out half the shot. That doesn't add tension. It just means you can't see stuff. And because they tried to recreate the scene from the previous movie.
Okay, so that's 41. Mine, I didn't feel any emotions for any characters.
I don't think I had an emotion apart from rage in the entire movie.
Like, Will Smith's wife died.
Don't care.
Didn't really care. Will Smith had died.
Didn't care.
Didn't care. Jeff Goldblum's dad. Yeah, I'm going to go 2 here. Jeff Goldblum's dad didn't die in a tidal wave.
That's another error. He should totally have died.
Yeah. Like, how did he not?
Like, Will Smith's wife should have done. Yeah. And did. They were wiping everybody out, and yet for some reason the most annoying, most useless one died. Didn't die, even. Yep, that was stupid. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's 43.
43. Okay, who am I?
No, I've still got some.
Oh, you have? No, I'll do another one then.
There's going to be a sequel.
That's about... No, I think you already said that.
Or they're at least planning on a sequel.
Yeah, that's a massive error.
Yeah, just like so much of... It finished with Brent Spiner just going, we can do interstellar travel.
Like in Star Trek! Oh, he also at one point said, "I've got to get you to medbay."
Sick bay, he said.
Sick bay.
Which is what they say in Star Trek.
Yeah, but you wouldn't... What you would say in real life is infirmary, hospital, doctor, medical aid. You would never say medbay or sick bay.
Yeah.
Unless you were in Star Trek.
What?
That was terrible.
But he was in Star Trek. He's not anymore, though.
He's not anymore. And this wasn't Star Trek, but it looks a bit more like Star Trek.
So yeah, that's my 33s that they're talking about sequels.
Mm.
Your
Alright.
your 44 is that sick bay.
The sick bay comment, yeah. Oh yeah, the symbol we've been seeing all the time that meant fear and then turned into enemy had been a circle with a line that goes from the centre of the circle to a little bit outside of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing we see that apparently this represents is a circle with a line all the way across the diameter.
No, they were two different things.
No, they were... Cause they did a fade out, and the people who were getting...
The circle with the line right across the diameter was the good thing. That was the orb.
Yeah, that the aliens feared. That was the enemy.
The circle with the line halfway through, in my head I called it at the start when I first saw it. Okay, well that's the aliens drilling into the planet.
No, I don't think it was.
Really?
No.
Everybody feared that.
The aliens feared the circle with the line across it. That was the thing.
The circle with the full... Yeah, they would. The circle with the full line across it, because that was the resistance. Whereas the circle with half a line, everybody who we showed it to had like some kind of telepathic sort of fear to it. Or when they would start writing things on the wall, that's what they draw.
Yeah.
Like people drew that as a sort of hallucination thing.
So then... In which case, that's a whole different problem, because the warlord guy who was getting hallucinations, sometimes he drew a circle with a Q kind of partial line, which could mean the core drilling that he was scared of. But then sometimes he just drew a really accurate picture of the ship. Why would the aliens deliver psychic messages of how we're going to destroy you, along with psychic messages of these are our greatest enemies, who, by the way, we've already committed genocide on, so why would we still be scared of them?
Okay, so we've got...
The aliens, the baddie aliens, wiped out the aliens who were helping us and had nothing to fear from them. So what was the point of the whole movie? Because it was supposed to be that the gribbly alien insects from the previous movie were afraid of this other alien species, but then it turns out that other alien species is wiped out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Also, I'm taking another one.
47 now.
Previously, there were two species in the universe.
Yeah.
Us and the aliens. No. Now there are infinity species in the universe, potentially.
No. We didn't know that definitively. They said, we now know we're not alone in the universe. That doesn't mean there are...
Yeah, but now suddenly they've set up that there are at least 4.
That's not a problem. That's fine.
That's not a problem, but it's not Independence Day anymore. It's a different movie. It's Star Trek now.
Yeah, it is.
It's Mass Effect. It's Star Wars. It's an entire galaxy of races, and it's not about humans anymore. Independence Day is about humans. It's about humans being attacked by something. And
I am wondering if they do a sequel which is all about interstellar travel and then just like exploring the galaxy, which is completely Star Trek.
And then it becomes a prequel to Star Trek.
But like, what's going to happen on Earth? Because the whole point of Independence Day is cities getting destroyed.
Yes, that was the point of Independence Day originally. Yeah, so they completely missed the point of Independence Day. Another thing that was wrong with this movie. What's that now? 46?
Yeah, that'd be 47.
47. Right. Another one.
We can do this.
Why did they need to drill into the Earth's core to steal molten metal? I've got 2 on top of this one. 1 more on top of this one even. Why did they need to drill into the Earth's core to steal the molten metal? It's mostly iron, one of the most common elements in the universe. When stars die, they basically die made mostly out of iron. The commonest heavy metal in the universe is iron. Meteors are basically all made of it. It's easy to get hold of. It's the top of the nuclear stability chart, energy per nucleon chart.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get hold of. These aliens don't need to drill into the Earth to get it. It's much easier to get it in plenty of other ways. And also, the core isn't molten. The core is solid. The outer core is not is molten.
It's only solid because of the pressure, though. Like it'd be
Exactly.
It'd be
molten.
molten
If they let it out.
Yeah.
Probably. We don't know. We've never done it. We think it might be. And here's another one. So that was 47, 48. Now here's 49. At one point, Jeff Goldblum says that if they drill out the Earth's core, it'll destroy our magnetic field and our atmosphere will boil into space. No, it won't. The atmosphere is held by gravity, not by the magnetic field. If you had said that they take away a huge portion of the mass of the planet and that will cause the atmosphere to escape into space, that would have been at least partly correct. Why didn't you say that? And 50, apparently in 1996 only one ship landed and for some reason it started drilling a hole into the ground.
And nobody seemed to notice.
Nobody noticed that in the previous movie. And why? Because their technique was, as they described very clearly in the movie, to wipe out all the major cities on the planet. And so they had about 40 ships wiping out cities, and then they had one ship drilling a pointless hole in the middle of Africa. Mm-hmm. Was that ship going to steal our core? Because if it was a hole 1/10 the size of the one they used in this film. Mm-hmm. So why would they bother? Also, why would you start a mining operation when you've not quite finished your bloody invasion?
Yep.
Are the aliens stupid or just acting at random?
Okay, well...
That was 50!
That was 50.
50 things about this movie that are awful.
Do you think that this...
Oh yeah, and it completely did not need to be made. It was a non-film. It was a pointless sequel.
Yes, it was.
51.
Do you think that this film has damaged the first film?
No, I just have to pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's just like Ghostbusters, which we're not going to have to go see now.
Yeah, that deal didn't
because of
work
the
for me.
deal. You can watch it if you want, but I'm not going to see it. But Ghostbusters won't ruin Ghostbusters. In the same way that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did not ruin Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. The average quality of Indiana Jones movies is now significantly lower.
The average quality of Independence Day movies
is now about 0. You add infinite... because this one is so far beyond 0. This one is more bad than the first one was good.
Really?
Yeah, if neutral is 0...
No, because
if neutral is 0...
Because this film was just... It was nothing special. It wasn't...
No, this one was bad.
No. Bad is Fantastic Four. Because that film doesn't even make sense. This
one didn't make sense.
No, this film does loosely make sense. Like, they have some of their facts wrong. Like, Ant-Man has some of its facts wrong. But it still does tell a story. Yes, it's not a good story. No, it was not well acted. No, it was not well cast, written, or directed.
Yeah, basically, there was nothing good about this movie.
But it was
cast, writing, CGI, direction, all bad.
No, CGI was good.
No, it wasn't. It was overused and pointless and just green flashes that I couldn't really focus on, and I didn't care where the green flashes went.
The film itself was just nothing special.
No, it was worse than nothing special. It really crapped all over its history.
Well,
for a start.
Even so, you can't say it's as bad as the first one was good, because the first one was the best disaster movie of all time. This one is not the worst disaster movie built of all time. Trust me, it's not. The same director.
That's a fair point.
As we found out in the car on the way home, the same director has done.
That is a fair point.
2012.
The worst movie ever is Russell Crowe's Robin Hood.
Now, what?
But I can still watch Independence Day, and I can still enjoy it, and I can still watch the first 3 Indiana Jones. I can still watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars. Yeah. You know, remakes don't ruin the original. I just wish they wouldn't make them. And I do think that this one was severely suffered from trying desperately to be a sequel, constantly reaching backwards for things because it couldn't write its own plot,
and trying to make people Will Smith.
Yeah, trying to make people Will Smith. Like 3 people maybe were Will Smith. All 3 of the love triangle were Will Smith. Yeah. In this movie, but also, hey look, we got Bill Pullman. Hey look, we got Will Smith's wife. Hey look, we've got Jeff Goldblum again. It was just, they would have made a significantly better movie if they hadn't pretended this was an Independence Day movie. Yeah. They could have cut half an hour out of it for a start, and just had us fight some aliens who were coming to try and drill a hole in the earth to steal our Earth's core.
One thing they missed.
That would have been great. and another alien race who had previously fought those aliens wanted to help us, that would have been fine.
You know the scene where they're celebrating Independence Day and there's all the screens
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff. And
why did they come on Independence Day again? Last time it was a coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Was it a coincidence again?
Yeah, this one doesn't make any sense.
52.
But, like, last time they were trying to do it like, okay, don't create any panic, but there's an alien invasion. Like, make sure everybody finds out civilly so they all leave appropriately, don't, like, cause riots or anything. This one was just gather everybody together to celebrate Independence Day and then, oh shit, I'll get everybody run.
Yeah, there was none of that.
That's pretty much it, just like, leave the city now.
Yeah, there was none of that clever, how do you actually handle this in a civic kind of population control kind of a way.
Okay, now, next thing, I think that we're in agreement of this. What was the best thing of this movie?
When it ended?
No.
Oh, going to the cinema.
Yeah,
it was a really good cinema.
It was the Showcase, called Showcase Deluxe.
Yeah.
As in Showcase D-E Lux, L-U-X.
Yeah.
Which is in Bristol.
It was really good. Comfy chairs with a little button on that can put your feet up and... Oh, it was lovely.
All the chairs in that cinema are the same, as in there's no VIP section.
They're all just super sweet.
There are a lot less chairs in the screen, so you have more than enough space.
Yep.
There's space for you to be reclining and somebody to walk in front of you.
Yeah. We said this previously. Instead of jamming people into uncomfortable seats and then only filling half the cinema, which is what happens all the time...
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in a full cinema in my entire life, I don't think. Have half as many seats.
Should we queue for a film at some point?
No, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
What about, like...
What, you mean do a midnight opening or something?
Yeah.
That could be interesting. But then you've got to be jammed. I don't want my first viewing of a film to be in a jam-packed,
what if it's here?
chatty...
What if
it's still jam-packed, you know.
It wouldn't be chatty. If we got a nerdy film...
No, maybe. Yes.
Then it would be going to a
Can we
film
go in costume?
Yes, we'd be going to a film in costume with nerds.
Deal.
And then there would be bits where, like, everybody would be like, yeah! Like when a new character comes on or something, like people used to do in sitcoms.
Deal. I'll do that.
Yeah, there we go.
Episode 8, Rogue One.
Probably. I think episode 8.
Independence Day 3.
Ugh.
No, I'm not going to see that.
No.
Yeah, the best thing about this movie was when it ended, and the fact that we quite enjoyed being at the cinema.
The worst part of this movie is we had to get out of that chair at the end.
Worst part of this movie was the movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie was just... I seriously almost walked out. About an hour and a half into it, I was just saying, all right, I'm so close to done.
Oh, less than that. It was only a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, it must have been earlier than that.
You were probably done by half an hour in.
I was done by the opening credits, to be honest, when I saw it spinning through space.
Yep.
It looked more like it was going to be Guardians of the Bloody Galaxy.
It did, yeah.
Which had a far better opening.
It looked more like Star Trek.
Yeah, it had a... Yeah, I felt like I was going to see, like, suddenly someone's deep booming voice would say, thousands of years ago, humanity became spacefaring. Since then, we've met hundreds of people, and now we boldly go. Which would have been good. It would have...
You need to memorise the Star Trek speech.
Oh, I don't care.
You really do.
Oh, look, I've never watched an episode of Star Trek, I don't think. I watched all the movies.
Oh, so many good episodes. So many.
I'm so not interested in the next Star Trek movie, though. It looks like a cross between bad Star Trek and the bad bits of Hellboy. Whereas Hellboy's really good.
Well, we're doing an episode on it since we're not doing Ghostbusters.
Oh, no. I don't want to watch it. Can we do an old
it's fine,
movie?
okay? Because I think in between that, or maybe after that, I'm not sure, we're doing Suicide Squad.
Yay!
So, like, that one's looking really good, and that's the one that could redeem DC.
Yeah. And then pretty soon after that, we got Doctor Strange, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
That can't go too far wrong.
Yeah, so I don't actually remember what our next episode is. I'm not sure if we had a gap next week for, like, a guest or something, or if we were just going to do Ghostbusters.
Fat chance.
But, I know that we will be doing both Star Trek and Suicide Squad, which are coming out quite soon. We've got loads more on the list. Doctor Strange, Jason Bourne, stuff like that.
Rogue One.
Well, that's quite near Christmas, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm predicting Passengers to be the space film of the autumn.
Oh, yeah.
Like how, for the past few years, you've had a space film of the autumn. You had Gravity, Interstellar, The Martian, and this year
will be this one.
Passengers. It's what I predict. No trailers or anything, but just... Space
Could be good.
with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
They're both quite good.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Well, actually, I've kind of lost interest in Jennifer Lawrence. I don't think she's actually that good now that I've seen Apocalypse. I'm so bored of her.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in X-Men. Yeah,
I've seen American Hustle, and she's appalling in that as well.
I think that Jennifer Lawrence is still yet to play her standout role.
Right, even
She's a great actress, but she hasn't yet been given.
even Hunger Games.
Because that series went downhill.
That was her first role, wasn't it? As well, really.
First major role.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. Maybe we should do a Hunger Games episode.
I'd rather not.
You've seen it.
I've seen them all, and
Alright, maybe by next time I'll watch an episode. I'll watch the Hunger Games and I can report back.
yeah, that'd be cool. You don't
I have this week off. I might watch all 4 of them in one day.
do it, yeah.
I'm gonna get so drunk. Kids who are listening, never get drunk. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, don't drink. We're done, aren't we?
That polishes it off. Then a little bit of abuse of Jennifer Lawrence's acting talent, and then
Oh,
no, she's all right actually.
Yeah.
She's not terrible. I just don't think she's. I don't think she.
she's nothing special yet.
Exactly.
Like, she's fine. She's very attractive. She's very funny in real life.
Yes, she is actually. She's good. She's
Yeah.
good on interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I do like her, but just she's overrated, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this
I
is
mean,
me talking, having only recently watched the last Hunger Games movie and just being
It
utterly
is
disappointed
well.
by it.
The X-Men thing have kept her on because she was contracted, and they've given her bigger and bigger parts in the last couple of movies because she became big while her contract hadn't yet run out.
Yeah.
So they're banking on her too much because she was rubbish as Mystique. Well, she wasn't rubbish, but you can't build a whole movie around Mystique in the same way you can't build a whole movie about Wolverine, and that's the only 2 people they've ever built movies
You
around.
can. They've done it once.
Except for First Class, the only film not based on either of those 2 people.
The
best one.
As in they did The Wolverine. That was a good movie. It was a good movie. It's just everybody went into it as a sequel to Wolverine Origins and sort of like, oh.
Yeah. It was hardly even a sequel. It was just
another movie, which then
It's
I
just
think
another movie.
a few months later got rewritten anyway with Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
One thing with X-Men,
Yeah.
they don't actually have. Well, they've got one film on their slate upcoming.
I don't even know what it is.
It's the next X-Men, which is was teased after Apocalypse.
Oh, that's right.
Like, I don't even think it has a release date.
Yeah, it's the Weapon X thing with the guy with the briefcase.
Yeah, Briefcase Man.
Yeah, which is going to be about Wolverine.
Oh yeah, sorry, they've got Wolverine.
Something sinister.
Mr. Sinister. Yeah, sorry, they've got Mr. Sinister and they've got Old Man Logan. Sorry, so 2 movies.
2 movies on the slate, both of which are about Wolverine.
Gambit they're trying but failing to make.
Which they should fail to make because Gambit is not. No X-Man is capable of an entire movie by themselves because they're an ensemble.
Yeah.
Plenty of people. It's like you wouldn't make a Human Torch movie because it would be terrible.
Yeah.
Because he's part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make a Wolverine movie either. You just make an X-Men movie because X-Men is so good.
Wolverine's got enough plot to hold one movie. Like, Origins could have been a good movie if it was
Could have been, but
if
it
it was a
wasn't.
well-made movie. Like, there's enough story there for a movie.
Yeah, I feel like we've digressed onto X-Men again, which is something we always
we
do.
have, yeah.
So let's wrap up, shall we, with our final recommendation of don't watch Independence Day, Resurgence. Do not give them any money. Punish them for their mistake.
Yep.
Don't give them money. Pirate this one. I wouldn't normally say that you should pirate a movie. Pirate this one, and then don't watch it. That's my recommendation.
Wow, harsh.
Yeah,
That is
really bad. Send Roland Emmerich tweets about how you hated it. Even if you haven't seen it.
I'd say watch it first before you send hate mail.
Don't send hate mail. Tell him that you thought the movie was terrible and you want your money back. That's what I'm going to do.
What do I mean telling that? But you've actually seen the movie though.
That's fair. Yes, don't take my word for it. If you do see the movie, tweet Roland Emmerich and tell him what you thought.
If you still got your ticket stub.
I think I probably do.
Oh, okay. You know.
I'll tweet him a picture and say, can I have my money back, please?
Okay, we're going to go now. So, next week...
Don't really pirate anything. That was a joke.
next week, don't know what movie we're doing. We'll find out.
See you then.
Bye.